Welcome to Orient Live. It's a match day debut for this brand new studio, and we've almost forgotten what football is. The break's been that long, but the O's are back in action today as we take on Port Vale, and I'm joined by none other than Andrew Butler and Brendan Pitcher. And Andrew, we had our preview show on Thursday night, and we rewatched the first half of the season's game against Port Vale. Certainly feels like there's a bit of a score to settle this afternoon.
Massively so, and it was so good to see Lawrence here also kind of reminding us as fans that they've remembered that as well. It's something that I'm sure we'll come on to as well with Hector, his pre-match. He was talking about the fact that players remember that kind of stuff, and there is a score to settle, but most importantly there's a game to be played, which is feels like a bit of a rarity. It's been ages since our last game. Here, obviously, we've had an FA Cup fixture, but it's going to be an interesting one today because it's impossible to call really. How are they going to come out after this sort of break in league action? Are they going to be really up for it, or are they going to be rusty? I'm not sure.
No, we will see. And Port Vale maybe surprised a few in the first half of the season. Played some great football, got some great results, and a lot of points on the board. They've tailed off a bit recently, and they're missing a few key players today. How do you think this test will be for the O's?
Yeah, I think Port Vale are a good side. They were one in the first half of the season where I earmarked as definitely playoff contenders, if not automatic promotion. But the last few games, they've lost their last four. They've got a number of players injured. They've got a threadbare squad today with just five players named on their bench. They've got a number of important players missing. It's going to be a real kind of good time to play them almost. And when you've got kind of, like Orient have, that big gap without a game, you kind of want a game like this where you're at home, where you've got such a good home record, the crowd are going to be up for it after so long away, and you're playing against a side who are good and have a good level about them, but are a little bit depleted in their numbers at the minute.
Well, the O's aren't depleted in their numbers, and this 5-week gap has allowed a fair few first teamers to get back in and amongst the action. So let's take a look at the O's starting 11 for this afternoon's game. In goal for the O's, number 22, Lawrence Vigouroux. In at left back, number 3, Connor Wood. Number 7, Paul Smith. Number 9, Harry Smith. Number 15, Alex Mitchell. 16, Aaron Drynan. Making his debut for the O's today on loan from Mill. Number 17, Dan Moss. 18 and captain this afternoon, Darren Pratley. 19, Omar Beckles. 25, Shad Oji. And 26, Hector Kyprianou. And on the bench for the O's, Sam Sargent returns to the bench. Number 5, Dan Happy. 6, Adam Thompson. 10, Dan Kemp. 14, looking to make his first start for the O's after joining on an 18-month contract, is Otis Khan. Number 20, Ruel Sotirio. And number 21, Matt Young. So, I mean, is there any real surprises in there for you, Andrew? Obviously, a big one is a notable absentee of Craig Clay.
Yeah, no surprises, I suppose. Nice to see Dan Moss coming in, making his first start, obviously in the absence of Tom James. And yeah, we should really talk about the fact that Craig Clay's looks like he'll be out for the season after that knee surgery. Such a huge loss, and really, I mean, let's be honest. I hope that we don't see the how bad it can be, because I hope that Pratley and Kyprianou and Young can kind of fill that gap. But Clay has been such a brilliant player for us in the last few seasons. A really influential player on the pitch, one of those ball winners, gives everything for this club every single time he steps onto the pitch. And so, like I said, I hope we don't notice his absence, because that would suggest that we need to bolster the squad even further. But it's going to be a massive loss. So an opportunity, of course, for Hector and Pratley to kind of take on that mantle, but a real loss. So. No major surprises. It's only been one change since Stoke, and we played really quite well against Stoke. In the cold light of day, it's kind of disappointing to lose 2-0 there. But considering they're a Championship side, it was probably to be expected. But our performance, considering we had such a lengthy time between games over the Christmas period, to play like that has given me a bit of hope ahead of today's fixture, because. We look right at it, and hopefully we can replicate that this afternoon.
And touching on Stoke there, we spoke about him on Thursday night as well. Brendan, little Paul Smith, he was fantastic at Stoke, and if he can stay fit and stay in this team, you just feel he's going to be fantastic for the O's, don't you?
Yeah, we've said so many times on this stream this season, if we can keep him fit, he's he's probably our most talented player because he's got such great pedigree. He's played at a higher level. He's played for Northern Ireland. I think he would have been kind of Kenny Jackett's marquee signing, and that's why it's been so disappointing that he hasn't been around so much for the first half of the season. But it's like that old cliche. He's almost like a new signing, isn't he? Coming in here, playing that number 10 role. I thought he was excellent against Stoke. Really kind of gave us something different in there in terms of he's got real speed. He can drive at a defence, and he's got quality on the ball as well. And I think Kenny will be looking to kind of just say, look, have a free roll out there, do what you have to do and create chances for us, because I'm a Port Vale defender. I'm going to be having nightmares about Paul Smith.
And looking back to our last league game, Andrew, 5 weeks ago against Crawley Town, I think it's been forgotten for many reasons, but you look at our defence today, it looks as though it's more what Kenny would imagine his back five has. We remember against Crawley we ended up with a back four with 4 centre backs. It feels a lot more balanced today, and we've got a lot more at our disposal.
Yeah, absolutely. It's probably up there with being when certainly in terms of those back three. One that Kenny would be wanting to be producing every week. Good back up there as well. I think throughout the season we'll see Thompson coming in, one of the others dropping out, like be it Mitchell or Shad. But it's nice. You remind me of that game against Crawley. It wasn't a pretty sight come the end of that game because playing 4 centre backs across a back four, which is not a system that we've seen much from Kenny as well, wasn't a particularly pleasant sight. It wasn't a particularly good game either for us. So we're kind of getting there. Unfortunately that we are without Tom James and Craig Clay for the rest of the season. It's one of those things that we'll probably just have to. Well, we've had to deal with it with James not being available for the Stoke game, and it's something that after today we can't really talk about because we can say, oh, what if they were playing? Well, they're not. So we have to move on. So now we're looking to see what would our full strength team be, and if Moss can perform well or as nearly as well as Tom James has done this season, that would be fantastic. Theo's looking like he's going to be coming back in probably next week as well. And then if Smith and Drynan with Smith behind them can get firing on all cylinders, that'd be brilliant. Because if we think even further back, the start of the season when people were talking about that front three of Smith, Drynan, and it was Theo at the time actually, that people were going, wow, this Orient front three is absolutely blistering. Now we could be in a situation next week where we have Theo Archibald playing left wing back with Smith and Drynan up there, and it will be hopefully as fearsome as it was right at the start of the season.
Well, we certainly will see, and that's our thoughts on the starting lineup. And of course, don't forget, with our brand new studio, we've got a brand new Twitter account which is fully interactive, so do head over to @LOFC Live where you can give your thoughts, opinions, send them all in. There'll also be giveaways, polls. There's currently a competition being run to win a Vigouroux signed shirt as well, so head over there and get involved. But anyway, now it's time to hear the thoughts of Hector Kyprianou as we caught up with him earlier in the week.
So Hector, 5 weeks now without a league fixture, you must be excited to get back out there this weekend.
Yeah, I'm buzzing to get back out there. It's been obviously a long time, as you mentioned. It's been a frustrating one as well because as players all we want to do is be on the pitch, but we're looking forward to the challenge on the weekend.
Of course, and it's been an unusual time for the players but also the fans as well. Surely it must be a good occasion to get them back in the stadium after so long.
Yeah, definitely. I hope to see a lot of the fans back in the stadium. Obviously, the COVID cases have gone down, so hopefully we'll see more of them back in and giving the support to us on the pitch.
And obviously the reverse fixture versus Port Vale ended in late disappointment earlier this season. Is there a desire to right some of the wrongs from that match this Saturday?
100%. Earlier on in the season, we were in the lead in the 80th minute, and then obviously, like you said, they scored 2 goals in additional time. We have that in mind, and this weekend we're going to go and put that right.
And obviously January transfer window now, 2 new signings coming into the group so far. How have Dan Moss and Otis Khan settled in?
In their first few training sessions, they've really settled in. We can tell they're really good players and they're going to be strong additions to the squad.
And games are coming thick and fast now, and there's going to be several weeks with 3 fixtures in. It'll certainly be challenging, but a period the group are looking forward to.
Definitely, like you said, these few months we haven't really played much, so we're just buzzing to get back on the pitch, and it's better for us. The more games, the more chances we can climb up the table.
Of course, yeah, and the postponed fixtures now leave us playing catch-up with other teams, starting with 3 difficult games this week. Teams in and around us in the league. Every game's going to be crucial from now on, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%. Every game's going to be tough in this league, but I think we've got the squad, we've got the players to go and challenge them and beat them, obviously. So we don't fear anyone, and we've just got to play our game, and then hopefully we'll come out on top.
First of all, apologies for any sound issues we might be having. We're working hard to fix it. We'll get that sorted soon, hopefully. But you touched on it earlier, Andrew. Hector, he's got a real good opportunity now as well, with Craig Clay being out for the rest of the season. So, he's shown what he can do already, but now it's a chance to really cement, his place in the Orient.
Yeah. I mean, I think we've all been such big fans of Hector since he broke through a couple of seasons ago, and he's shown what he's capable of. And now it's kind of you get to points in your career where there's kind of you have to step up, because there's kind of either no one coming in behind you, or there's no backup. With him, he's fought so hard to get in the team alongside Craig Clay for much of this season. Now that Clay's out, it's kind of like, right, well, I have to perform, otherwise, the team is actually going to suffer on the pitch. So he's stepping up slowly but surely. He's so talented as well. He's the ability that he's got is clear to see. The use of both his right and left feet is something that personally I love about his game. The way that he kind of drives the team forward. Obviously, there will be stuff that he'll need to develop as he gets that little bit older. He wants to be adding goals and some assists to his game, but he's done that so far this season. He's got four assists so far this season, which is I think a better return than last year. Hasn't got a goal. Still has only got that one goal for us, and that was in his debut in the FA Cup against Newport. So he'll want to probably be pushing on in that regard.
Well, could it be today that Hector gets his first ever league goal for the O's? But it's Port Vale who are the opposition for us today. Let's take a look at their lineup as we are rapidly approaching kick-off. So in goal for Port Vale, number 26, Aidan Stone. Number 2, James Gibbons. 4, Brad Walker. 5, Connor Hall. 6, Nathan Smith. 8, Ben Garrity. 9, James Wilson. Number 15, Chris Hussey. Number 16, Aaron Martin. Number 19, David Amu. And number 23, and their skipper, Tom Pett. And just the 5 subs for Port Vale today, starting with number 11, Mal Benning, 14, Alex Hurst, 24, Kian Harrott, 27, Lewis Cass, and 29, Ryan Edmondson. So there is the Port Vale lineup that the O's will be trying to get all 3 points from today. And I think it's probably easier, Brendan, to talk about the players that they are missing than the players that they do have. I think their sub-bench speaks volumes alone.
Yeah, we touched on it earlier about they've only got 5 subs and they've got a number of players missing. I was looking back at their starting lineup from the reverse fixture where they beat us 3-2, and they're missing 6 players from that lineup. Conversely, we've only made 3 changes, so it shows that we've got a much more settled side, and they're having troubles at the minute. I think if you go through the side, I think their goalkeeper Lucas Kovalan is suspended after he was sent off a couple of weeks ago. You've got people like David Worrell, who has been a top player at League 2 level for a while now, and he'll be a massive miss for them. You've also got Tom Conlon, who I think probably one of the best number 10s in the division. He's missing, and then also 2 forwards in Devontae Rodney and Jamie Proctor, who scored against us in the reverse fixture. So there's a number of key players missing for them, and like I said earlier, it's almost a perfect time to be playing them, because I really do think Port Vale are a good side when everyone's available to them. I think they've got a good structure there. They've got Darryl Clark, who's been promoted out of this division before, and David Flitcroft as the director of football above him. So there's a structure in place there, and I'm sure they're working hard in January to kind of supplement this squad. But to hit them at this stage where they can only name 5 substitutes is almost perfect for us.
Well, Brendan's confident, Andrew, but they still pose a threat. They've still got players in there. Where do you feel they could pose a threat for the O's this afternoon?
Well, I mean, Brendan was right. So Conlon, Pett, Garrity not Conlon, but Pett and Garrity. Very, very good players that have been performing really, really well for them this season. But I completely agree with Brendan about kind of their squad depth. Now, was it against Tranmere when we only were able to name 5 players on the bench? And before the game had even kicked off, we were saying this is worrying, because we saw the starting 11 that we had and the players that we had on the bench, and we were like, oh, there's not much to come off the bench as well. So I'm confident that we can do it this afternoon. Pouncing on their misfortune, which sounds a bit harsh, but at the same time, we've been in that position ourselves already this season. So hopefully, we'll have more than them. They also don't have a goalkeeper on their bench. Darryl Clark just doesn't trust their youth goalkeepers to name a sub goalkeeper. I don't know what I would recommend in that position. What would you do, Brendan? Stick one on the goalkeeper?
Yeah, I guess so.
Just try and get him sent off from the corner.
Straight away.
Makes sense. Well, we'll be looking to get in to Port Vale and get some goals, and one man who'll be doing that is little Paul Smith. And you've picked him out today, Andrew. We've spoken about him a fair bit already, but we've got some clips from some of his recent play, and he could be one of the best players at the club. If he can stay fit. You can just see there's something special despite only having played a handful of games.
It's the way that he can carry the ball from a standing start. We'll see a bit of a mixed bag in terms of end product, but the way he can just carry it from that standing start, his acceleration is absolutely superb, which is is one of his biggest assets as well. Every time when we see this clip, he's just there and he's away from a player almost instantaneously. So we need to get him on the ball. We need to get him on the ball in those kind of like number 10 positions, because as soon as he's running at a defence, the defence won't want to be defending against him at all. So it's been obviously an incredibly stop-start time for him since he arrived at the club in the summer. And then this was his goal against Charlton in the Papa John's Trophy. Well taken, obviously capitalising on an error from the centre back, but and a lovely celebration to boot as well.
And you look at the attacking options Orient have already. If Dranan and Smith can replicate the first half of the season, they'll both be finishing off on 26 goals each. That would be incredible. If you can now bring in Paul Smith as well to get in amongst the goals, we could look really dangerous without even mentioning Ruel on the bench. We've got some options. Yeah,
like Andrew said there, he said that potential of having like Theo Archibald at left wing back, Paul Smith as number 10 and the two forwards is fantastic. And then kind of you add someone like Otis Khan maybe into the fold at right wing back flying forward. That's an incredibly offensive side, and it'll be interesting to see what route Kenny takes in kind of balancing all of that, because it sounds great on paper, but maybe if you have all of those players in the side, it is a little bit unbalanced. I think today he's kind of balanced it out by having Moss in there ahead of Otis Khan, and I think that's the intriguing position for me. It might just be a case of Dan Moss has been here a week longer, so he's had more time on the training ground to get integrated, but I think it'll be interesting to see who Kenny picks for certain games between Moss and Khan on that right hand side, because they're different options in terms of Moss is perhaps a little bit more defensively minded and Khan's a little bit more offensively minded.
And Brendan's touched on the headaches that Kenny will have with these attacking options. We haven't even mentioned Kemp, who sat on the bench today, who, when he came in through the season, he was fantastic. It is going to be a struggle for Kenny to maybe fit all these players in, especially when everyone's fit. But I suppose we have got a lot of games to catch up on as well. Yeah,
it's going to be a struggle, and it's interesting with our attacking options, because strangely, it sounds strange, but our ability to score goals hasn't been a problem this season. We've got 37 in the league so far. We've been blisteringly good at times, and it's been in those games where for some reason it just hasn't clicked. You think about like Crawley and Mansfield and games where we've been drawing blanks. That it's all well and good beating Swindon 4-1. Don't get me wrong, that was a brilliant evening here at Brisbane Road and one of my favourite games of recent times. But games where it's like gritty and you only need that one goal, we've really struggled to kind of get those games over the line. I think Tranmere away, or was it Crawley, when we should have at least scored like one, probably two, and it would have been a completely different result in those games. They're the games that we kind of have to be getting something out of at least, because it's strange, because attacking wise we've been absolutely brilliant, and there are going to be headaches along the way, but we need to just pretty much make every chance count, which is much more harder than it sounds.
It certainly is, and thankfully those headaches are Kenny's and not ours. He's the one who's got to make the decisions, and let's hear his thoughts ahead of this afternoon's game.
Port Vale at home this weekend, and a great encounter to get our teeth back into to start again, and probably a bit of a score to settle there, seeing how it ended last time.
Yeah, we nearly nicked it, but as you say, just at the end lost it. But my overall thoughts are Port Vale were a good side. You know, I did think that on that particular day, and they've proved that over the season so far. A good team. They have had some injury problems that they're trying to work through, like us all, and they'll be chasing though in the second half of the season. They're a strong side, and on Saturday it starts a run of some very good teams we're playing against, and I'm looking forward to it because I want us to test ourselves against the best and be able to come out. If we want to be successful, we need to be successful and looking good against the best teams, and that will start on Saturday.
In terms of squad selection then for Saturday, how are things looking? Obviously we've had a couple in terms of transfers, and there have been a couple of injury absentees as well, so in terms of selection for yourself, how's it looking?
Yeah, Moss and Khan are both fit and available, which is good news and good signings for us down the right hand side, and then after that, Craig Clay is having an operation today, and that does look like his season is finished. He has a knee ligament problem that's been lingering really since around about September, and we've decided to try to get that sorted out, and the operation will sort that out. So Craig will be a miss for us, but won't be available now for the foreseeable future. Theo Archibald, we're waiting probably until tomorrow, and we'll see if he's not fit for Saturday, then we're hopeful of next week. He's very, very close.
Hopefully that man will have a big old smile on his face come the end of 90 minutes today, and he'll be relying on his group of 11 players to bring those 3 points home this afternoon. And let's remind ourselves who are wearing the Orient colours this afternoon. So in goal for the O's, number 22, Lawrence Vigouroux. Number 3, Connor Wood. 7, Paul Smith. 9, Harry Smith. 15, Alex Mitchell. 16, Aaron Drinan. 17, making his debut, Dan Moss. Number 18, Darren Pratley wearing the armband. Number 19, Omar Beckles. Number 25, Shad Oji. And 26, Hector Kyprianou. And on the subs bench for the O's, number 1, Sargent. Number 5, Dan Happy. Number 6, Adam Thompson. Number 10, Dan Kemp. Number 14, Otis Khan. 20, Roel Satiriou. And 21, Matt Young.
Blame the new studio, Ollie.
Yeah, I'll blame the new studio, blame the producers. So, where do you see the O's getting some joy today, Brendan? Where's your heart telling you this one's going to go?
I think, if you're looking at what the Port Vale fans are saying, they're not too happy with the inclusion of one of their centre backs. So I think if I'm Kenny, I'm thinking maybe early on you play balls in behind him, you target him. I think Paul Smith could have a big role in that. We know how much he likes to run at players and commit players, and that's where I'd start early on. And then Andrew also spoke about the goalkeeper. Look, he's second choice. He's played around 50 League Two games, so he's not massively experienced. And also with no keeper on the bench, maybe just give him a bit of a tester from some of the corners, maybe.
Well, that's your words, not mine. That's keep it all above board. But let's exclude Crawley from the equation, and the O's have been putting teams to the sword here, winning by 4, scoring for fun. Do you think this break will have helped maybe re-energise and rest, or do you think it might have to be a bit of a fight?
Yeah, great question. We probably will be able to find that out in the first 10 minutes of the game, because it's hopefully the crowd will drive them on. We can hear them from our new studio as well, which is not the sound that I was expecting to hear. But I'm looking forward to it, Ollie, because it's been so long that it's just good to be back.
It certainly is. Well, just the Port Vale fans out on the pitch at the moment. I'm sure the O's will be making their way out soon after. But don't forget to join us back here at half-time and get involved on Twitter at LOFC Live. But now it's time to pass over to Dave Victor and Matt Hiscock. Come on, you O's.